It takes a village to lift you higher. We teach the way, feed the fire. It takes a village.
Welcome to another episode of the Village Podcast. I'm your host, Kendale Lumpkins, and this is a podcast where people help people. Today, I got somebody just like a brother, a mentor, but he's been a real friend to me over the past 20 years. Somebody that's impacted my life. I met him when I was 18 years old. Would you all help me welcome Dr. Adam Breerwood to the show?
Kendale, I love you, man. I'm so happy to be here.
Man.
So honored. The work that you're doing. It's a true pleasure for me to be here.
Yeah,
this
man.
morning.
I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Hey, so look, man, before we get started, I ask this question to every guest because, man, like, dude, you're a husband, you're a father, you're the president of Pearl River Community College. You wear so many hats, and I see you for more than what you do, right? I see you for who you are. So, man, how is Adam Breerwood doing? Without husband, without president, like, how are you doing at this stage in your life?
So that's a great question. I think I'm doing great.
Yeah.
I think I got a really great life-work balance right now. Both of my kids are in Poplarville right there with Shannon and I and our dogs and our pig. And
Yeah.
it's just a blessing to do it. I have the opportunity to do every day.
Yeah.
So, but that's a great question. I haven't thought about that in a long time.
Yeah, man, because, especially men, we just wired to go. But there's some stuff that we got to work through and battle through that nobody gets a chance to, like, hey, man, how are you, though? Like, how are you doing? So that's why the question is really important to me. And I always care about people whenever they sit in this seat, man.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So look, man, what we're going to try to eliminate or what try not to do today is bring up all of my past at Pearl River Community College.
Understood. That'll take a couple of hours.
But look, be free to share. Be free to share, man. Look, so the journey, like starting out, what did it for you? Like, man, you was a baseball coach, right? So what made you like say, you know what, I want to go and be the president of Pearl River Community College? Did you ever picture this?
I never really aspired to set out to be the president. I was blessed to have the opportunity to come to Pearl River, played there, went to William Carey and played, came back, got to tell everybody, hey, I'm a college baseball coach, right?
Yeah.
I was pretty proud of that. But the truth is I had an opportunity to work in maintenance and I cut grass most of the day.
Yeah.
And in the afternoon I go and hit ground balls. But on that mower, cutting that grass, that's really where I learned the foundation of my educational philosophy. So God is good. It's not always what you expect.
Yeah.
But it opened up so many, doors for me and just different perspectives for me. So, I started off in that role, did that for several years, had an opportunity to coach soccer, which was a sport I knew absolutely nothing about.
Yeah.
Shannon and I ran a dorm for a number of years, and I wanted to be the head baseball coach. That's really what I wanted to do. I played there, worked with a coach for 5 years and thought it would be my opportunity. But in hindsight, they chose the perfect guy in Coach Artigues. And, my path went the administration route. Dr. Lewis gave me some tremendous opportunities, and I hung around long enough. And, I get the opportunity to sit here today as president. But no, I from the very beginning, I never thought about being a president. I remember I would run with our baseball team in the morning. Obviously, this was years ago. And we would run by that president's home.
Yeah.
And, I'd often, you run by that thing, 200-300 times over the course of a couple of years. You just kind of wondering, what's going on in there? What makes that person different than any of us out here? And I started to develop a true love for our mission and our college, and just so blessed and honored to have the opportunity that the board saw fit to name me the 11th president of our institution.
Yeah. So I didn't know that. We've talked a lot, but I didn't know that, another coach got the job.
Oh, absolutely. I was bypassed for that job. And, that was certainly not a slap in the face, but it was eye-opening. You got to keep in mind, this was my first job out of college. So you work there for 5 years and you give your life to, and you think it's just owed to you. And the truth is that every now and then, who's going to move your cheese on you.
Right.
Never really thought about being an administrator, but I realized throughout that process, throughout that journey, throughout that disappointment, all the things that I learned, all the different perspectives, all the people that I've got to know along the way. You work in maintenance and you get an opportunity to see those people that are getting up every day and truly grinding. I go back to that mower. I didn't want to cut grass. I thought, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be a college baseball coach. But the truth is that I learned so much because what I do, I would ride on that mower, and what do you do, Kendale, when you're upset about, having to cut grass? You'd see trash on the ground. I just blow over the top of it, right?
Yeah.
Trash would go everywhere. But I started to take that bucket and get off and pick up trash first. And as I did that, I would talk to our students. We're on the same routine every day. I'm cutting in front of the same buildings every day. So I would engage our students and, students like you and other people at the time. And they've just come through and, Coach, good morning. How you doing? And after a while, you get to know their names. You get to know their stories. You get to know their challenges. And I realized that all the biggest obstacles that impede a student has nothing to do with what happens inside the classroom. It's all the challenges outside of the classroom. And that really opened my eyes to some things. So as I moved off into, dean of students and some other positions down the road, that never left me. And then, 2015, you're named president-elect, and people say, hey, what's your educational philosophy? And, you have to go all the way back and you think about it and you say, it's just about serving people and serving students and removing those obstacles for people on a daily basis. So sometimes there's a plan in motion that you don't always see. And I'm just blessed that it worked out.
Yeah, man, because, and I think the reason why I'm glad you touched on that is because a lot of times people can see you at this place in your life and don't think that you had to cross any hurdles. There were no disappointments. There was no discouragement. There was no, you didn't get the job. But it was actually divine that you didn't get it, because if you would have got it, you'd probably be a successful baseball coach.
Yeah, sure.
Probably wouldn't be where you are today. So you needed that to happen so that you can get to this place in your life.
I couldn't agree more. So many unique perspectives were provided to me after that. I would have been somewhat siloed off throughout my career. Even when I was coaching, all I worried about was trying to build team chemistry, build that unit. But now I have a bigger team.
Yeah.
And so a lot of those lessons that you learn along the way, even as the assistant baseball coach for 5 years, and then, got, like I say, coach soccer, I didn't know anything about it, but I did know that if we can unite people and we can build chemistry, then we have the opportunity to really do some great things. And we did. And we won in a sport we didn't know anything about. And I realized the value of just building unity and building a team. So this is just a bigger team.
Yeah.
That starts off as team chemistry, and now it's campus culture.
Yeah.
And, I've just been very fortunate in given opportunities by a lot of people who trusted me and what we were trying to do to have this position today.
So, man, listen. So, 2004, I land on Pearl River Community College campus. And, man, I'm telling you, I didn't want to go to PRCC because everybody from Columbia was going. And I was like, man, it's an extension of high school. Sure. So, man, I'm going. But, man, like when I got there and you were my dean of students, you were the dean of students there, man, my perspective on life changed. And so as I'm listening to you talk about why you're the way you are, I was going to ask you today, why are you so approachable? Man, it's because you was on that lawnmower.
Well, you were helping me. That's what people always, they forget. They just assume you're looking at me at that time. And I guess I just got maybe my doctorate degree. So here I am. I've got a new nameplate, right? And I'm the dean of students. And I see this young man that smiled all the time like you do now. You had a charisma about you, but there was more to be pulled out. And I think over our couple of years, we really worked through that. And, but you were teaching me, Kendale, opening my eyes to some things, an opportunity for maybe to work with somebody, trust somebody, love somebody doesn't look exactly like me, right? So that gave me a chance to kind of expand my wings and look at things different. So, I give you as much credit as you give me in my development as you do for, as you give me.
And I appreciate it because the experiences that I've had, and I swear by it. And it's not facetious. It's not me saying it because it sounds good. PRCC means more to me than any school I've ever gone to.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you saying that. It's such a unique time of your life as you step off and you leave home, and you get an opportunity to go off to college for the first time, or there's just some type of separation from what's normal to you. And I think the more we can understand that as faculty, staff, and administration, that this is life-altering decision right now, and the impact that we can have. And the more we continue to look at that and put the right people in the right spots that live that message, we'll change lives for. for as far as we want to go and for as
And-
long as we want to go.
And the reason why I say it was the most impactful and the best that I've ever gone to, because you had that perspective in 2004. Man, you had no idea. You got to know me there, but man, you didn't know what I brought with me when I came.
Sure.
Like, you didn't know that, man, this kid don't even have a car. And if he don't go home on Friday, he's here stuck on the weekends. Right? And I'm just this kid wondering, like, man, why he always speaking to me? Like, why is he grabbing me? Like, whenever the internship for the Disney experience and the co-op, I'm like, why do you want me to go? But I didn't realize that you saw something in me at that time that changed and impacted my life. And what I mean by that is, and I told you this before, that we were at a football game about 3 or 4 years ago, and Makai was on the sideline. And as he's on the sideline, you get the football and you're throwing the football, and it started to click. Man, when you helped me, you wasn't just helping me.
Right.
You were helping the kids I would eventually have. You were helping my wife. You were helping the people, and that's how a seed, that's how education, that's why what you do is so important, because when you impact one kid's life, he may have a chance to go impact so many others' lives. And I'm saying, like, that's what makes this mean so much to me. Like, I fight people about PRCC. Like, I almost had to get into it with somebody because they don't know the depths of why it means so much to me.
Well, I think when you have leadership positions, there's no greater compliment. There's no greater joy. There's no greater reward than to see some of the people that you work so hard to help mentor to now take that same vision.
And it was hard too. It wasn't easy. So I'll interject and say this because it wasn't always smooth sailing, right? We'd had to have some conversations.
Absolutely not. And I don't know how much you want to get into that on camera, but no, you were always an exceptional man. You had something special about you. You always carried a lot of emotion. You were kind of a self-starter and always motivated, but that's pretty common, right? People get started with something that's pretty common, which rare is endurance.
Yeah.
And so to watch you over those couple of years and you still had that same fire, there at the end, it was like, man, this guy's going to do big things. And you have. You talk about your son. I'm going to talk about my son for a second with you. Think about how strange that was for me when my son comes in and says, Dad, man, I met this guy who knows you, man. He's awesome. I love him. He said he said a lot of the same things you did, Dad. And he told me who he met, and it was you. Yeah. And I know that feeling. Yeah. And you talk about full circle now. Yeah. So, it's just the blessings of life that we can continue to give. And think about the generations that we talked about just being impacted here. Now multiply that by thousands and send it out. I think I'll be 52 this year. I've been at Pearl River for 30 years. Yeah. And it's been a long time, man. A lot of different changes I've seen, a lot of great things we've got to be involved in. But it wasn't until recently that I kind of started to connect some dots, and I found it pretty interesting. ChatGPT and all these AI things are just, they're truly amazing. And so I load a lot of my stuff into those formats. Former speeches, old speeches, other stuff. And as we write and as we talk and as we have ideas, and really it's somebody you can kind of trust in, right? In some ways. And it was talking about our national championships in baseball and softball and how proud we were of that. And if you listen to Coach Meeks and Coach Avalon, the one thing they talk about, Pearl River Special, right? Special. What does that mean? Yeah. So, I'm just looking and thinking through that, why is Pearl River so special? And then it goes back to the stuff I was talking about. They had such a special chemistry on that team, but that's really a microcosm of the culture that we're trying to create. And it said to me, Adam, do you think that those are a direct reflection that when you were 8 years old, your parents started an organization in New Orleans called We Care for Special Children? I want to tell you a quick story about that. I had this friend of mine, his name was Kurt. Kurt was 13 years old, and he had some mental disabilities, mentally handicapped. I was 8 or 9, so we were on the same, we had the same interest. Right. Kurt was just bigger than me, and we grew up in I grew up in Metairie, and I would ride my bike down, and we'd sign up at the ballpark, the playground to go play ball. Well, they didn't let him sign up. They said, no, he can't do it. Well, I didn't understand that, so I came home and I was telling my mom, and he was standing in the kitchen, and she said, Kurt, you can't sign up. And I'm talking, she was a firecracker now. My mom's 5'5", 105 pounds at the time. Ready to go. She got in that van of hers, big old van that we haul a bunch of kids around in. And she went up there and she said, I don't understand this. And they talked about the different challenges that they have. She started an entire organization, my mom and dad both did, called We Care for Special Children in New Orleans. It ended up having 200 or 300 people like this. And I remember that, you know, in the paper and other quotes and their other recognition that they received, they said the biggest thing that we realize is, you know, our students, our children don't suffer with this, but we're teaching the value in every single person that we come across. And I remember that like yesterday, and it didn't really come full circle to me till a few months ago. This life of service and seeing people and trying to recognize the value in them and pull the best out of them. It was a gift that was provided to me by my parents years ago, and for their, you know, legacy, if you will, how many people will that impact in the future, including yourself, how you impacted me and the people that you will continue to impact, Kendale. So it's always somewhere. There's always something that happens in your life. And I think that was a pivotal point in mine.
Yeah. And so, you know, cause I still, as today was, as we were preparing today, I'm thinking about like just questions I could ask. And I'm saying it's crazy because you're answering a lot of them, because I was always trying to figure out, man, what made you see me?
Yeah.
Like what made you as a dean of students? Because, you know, people get titles, people get doctorate degrees, and they lose it. Yeah. Like they act like they're God's gift to the world. They don't need people. They don't serve people. They don't help people. But dude, like, and here's the funny thing. So there's some people still to this day that when they see me, they call me Mr. President. Because whenever I was at school there, I would go get my slacks, my daddy's slacks that he had. I would make sure that I can tie the belt up tight enough. And I would walk around the calf with this on because I was somebody that you poured into. Like I'm saying, I don't know if you knew that, but people, I got a guy from Columbia. If he see me, what's up, Mr. President? From all of those years ago. And now it's coming back. Now it's starting to make sense as to like, what made you see me?
Yeah. You know, that's so interesting. I try to see them all. I really do. There's just so many things that I've learned, you know, even back then, I just saw it different. You know, you asked me if I wanted to be the president. Yeah, but not because I thought it would be this, you know, highly powerful, influential position. Look, my name's Adam. I've worked at for over 30 years. Sometimes I still feel like I'm sitting in Dr. Lewis's office. I just want to help, want to help people. I don't know barely how to get into our computer system. I don't know much about curriculum, but what I do know is that if you can unite people and you can make them feel valued, and everybody has a responsibility in that. And it's really easy to stand on a stage and look at everybody on our staff and say, you know, these are the things we're going to do. And everybody knows what we do and that they know how we do it. But this is why we do it. And the reason we do it is to change people's life. You know, we have had some great things that have happened. We've had some things that we've been able to sustain and a lot of excellence over the last several years. And that tells me that our culture is finally getting rooted. You know, it's not just motivation. It's not just trying to do some things in the beginning. This is who we are. This is what separates Pearl River. We think it's our biggest competitive advantage. People can duplicate strategies. They can, you know, and they all do that in education. What's this program doing? You know, what are they charging for this? What are they doing for that? And all those things are important. But at the end of the day, our biggest competitive advantage is creating a culture where people feel valued and are willing to give of themselves to push others forward. And that's just been our mission. So, you know, you saw me, you know, why'd you come up to me, right? What, you know, that's the same question for a leader like yourself. Here I am. What made you say, you know, that might be a guy I can go talk to? Unless it was a disciplinary issue we talked for the first time. I don't really know.
It wasn't no discipline. My daddy was kind of crazy, so I ain't staying no trouble like that. But I'm gonna tell you though, it's interesting because there was this aura, there was this spirit, there was this energy that you had that made you approachable. Because you gotta, where I'm from, we didn't see many doctors, right? Especially not black doctors.
Sure.
And you were a guy like a brother to me, like you're 11 years older than me. Right. But when you saw me, it was like, man, you didn't see me like, oh, let me point my finger at you and tell you how to do it. Like you were like, let's walk together. Like, let's do this together. Kendale, I ain't perfect. I ain't make all the right decisions. And that was so interesting to me as an 18-year-old kid, because I had got tired of seeing people get in certain spaces and act like they had never done any wrong,
Yeah.
that they had all the answers at 18. But that's how people push this on young people, and it turns them off.
Well, I think you being open-minded and me being open-minded. I mean, think about even today, all we focus on is the differences. That's all it's about. It's just the differences. I mean, why should two guys like us be sitting right here together, built on this relationship from so many years ago that's continued, and we're family? Why is that? I mean, maybe we both took a chance a little bit, and we just refused to let our differences that we realize how many more similarities we have than differences.
Yeah.
That's what I love about the work that you're doing with our Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I mean, let's think about that program. You walk in on day one, right? And you can picture it. I mean, you walk in on day one and you've got all these student athletes in this room, but they're all in silos.
Yeah.
Right? Here's our football team. Here's our baseball team.
Yeah.
All of these basketball, and you can see our cheerleaders, and they're over there amongst their own peers, the ones that kind of look alike and maybe from the same kind of backgrounds and all those things. But then fast forward 6 months, what happens? It's one melting pot.
That's it.
Right? Because we provided an environment that we can have open, frank, honest discussions. We can have some open adoration. We can do some worship, but more importantly, we can build communication and trust and friendship. Well, guess what happens, Kendale? Those same groups now go into our cafeteria. And you know what? They're not just walking by each other. They're saying, hey, man, what's going on?
Yeah.
And they're visiting with each other in class, and they're studying together. And that begins to permeate the campus. And then it goes out and it leads into the community. Is that part of our educational philosophy or responsibility? I think it is, whereas others may not. But I believe that is paramount in preparing people to become better mothers and fathers and sons and daughters, because they're going to go out and build better communities in which we reside.
Yeah.
And if we can do that, I know our impact will be everlasting.
Yeah. So did you ever picture the campus? I mean, because, I saw PRCC in 2004.
Yeah, right.
I saw the football field in 2004.
Sure.
Saw the baseball. Sure. So what is it about the vision, the mission to make it better? Because what I see whenever I see you, you're leaving it better than you found it. Dr. Lewis and that team did a great job handing it off to you, right? Sure. Mentored you, helped you grow, gave you opportunities. Yet there's something that you saw that PRCC could be.
People talk about vision. And I guess as a college president, right, I should say, vision is all of these wonderful things we're going to do down the road, and, this really long-term vision. And I think I'm pretty short-sighted in some ways. I think when we get up every day, we just look at you, or I'll just look at an employee and say, do I have the vision? Do I have the drive to make that person see how good that they can be? Now, I know that seems very small, but think about that, how that multiplies. People, you mentioned the athletic facilities, and, especially out there around, baseball and softball. Our staff is going out and building relationships and fundraising. We're putting a product on the field that people want to watch, and our advertising revenue and all of these different things. They are leading that charge. People just assume that that's me, but it's certainly we have a hand in it to try to provide them the resources and the tools, but they are doing so much. We are doing some things, but they are partners in that effort. So you get the right people, you get them to see what you're trying to get them to see, you give them the confidence to go out and do it and the reasons why we do it, and they build it. It's not always about just, let me go to Jackson and beg and try to get all of this money. Yeah, those things obviously help. But I think when we have success, people want to be part of something successful. So I think that there are so many other additional ways, whether that's from the federal side or the state side or the local side, that will invest in our mission and what we're trying to do, or what we have done for either themselves or a member of their family. And then that just begins to breed opportunity. The campus is beautiful.
Yeah.
It really is. And I'm telling you, you ain't seen nothing yet, brother. We're coming, And
yes, sir.
I love when people come back that haven't been there a long time and they just stop and say, wow, I just can't believe all the improvements that have been made. That's not what we're built on. Katrina taught us that.
Yeah.
Buildings can crumble, and, our infrastructure is going to age. Our foundation, our culture is built on people. And if we continue to invest in people, we will you hadn't seen anything.
This episode is proudly sponsored by Front Street Restaurant Group. We appreciate their support of the Village Podcast and their continued investment in our local community. Front Street Restaurant Group is home to some of downtown Hattiesburg's favorite spots, including Blue Jazz Cafe, Southbound Bagel and Coffee Shop, Bourbon on Front, and many more. Be sure to stop by, enjoy a great meal, and support the businesses that help make conversations like these possible. Thank you, Front Street Restaurant Group, for sponsoring this episode. Here's the interesting thing, because when we talk about leadership, that's what it should look like. Like, I didn't know that was what was happening. All we could see is, man, Dr. Breerwood got a great staff, got a great team.
Yeah, we do.
But you're really just pouring into people.
Sure. And I don't think that, I think when we do have a job opening, it's not always, does this person fit perfectly? We're going to hire the who first, who we hire, and then the what second. And so, a lot of times you'll see that there's a lot of people that move up inside of our organization and do some other things and take on bigger roles and responsibilities. And it's all because once we can, make sure that person's invested in our culture, which is our most important and competitive advantage.
Yeah.
We can teach them to do a lot. People did that for me.
Mm-hmm.
I go back and say, do I think I'm the best technical president or strategy president? I don't know. That's for somebody else to determine. But I know that nobody loves their staff and their students more. And we're not perfect. We make mistakes, and maybe people have always had the best experience. But we'll get up tomorrow and go again and try again.
And I think that's the part of it that draws me to it, because even to this day at this place, I can pick up the phone and call you, and our conversations are not about perfection. Right. Conversations are not about, hey, I got it right. It's just, hey, brother, how you doing? Right. How the family doing? Right. Like, how your wife, how your kids, what you up to? And so when people get it at PRCC, the ones that call it home, they can see the imperfections and still love it.
Absolutely. That's family, right?
Yeah.
That is just family to the T. And, that's a word that's thrown around and really not given much respect in some ways. We're family. But if you're truly family, if you truly love and care about each other, and, you're talking about 6,500 students that are there on it, not even including all the people we train in workforce or short-term classes and some other things. And you talk about, over 600 faculty members. Our family's gotten pretty big. Yeah. But we work on it. We work on it on a daily basis. We love them, and we got to reward them. We've given over 32% in faculty pay raises since 2017. That's been a true commitment. But how much the people appreciate. It's one thing to say, you're doing a great job, you're doing a great job, you're doing a great job. Well, but we're not going to prioritize what allows you to go home and support your family. No, we're going to prioritize that. And we're going to ask you to do more with less, but in turn, you're going to receive a financial benefit. I think people buy into that, not just for the money itself, but because of the appreciation and the commitment to them. Again, it's about our people, and our people build our culture, and our culture will build our institution's success. Yeah.
So what drives you? I mean, because we've had exponential growth. Like, some world-class stuff is happening at Breerwood Community College. And I'll argue with people up and down that this is the best place to be for their kids. But what keeps driving you to, like, do more? Because you could easily get to 30 years in education. I'm on my way out. Man, I'm not moving the needle anymore. I'm not adding anything else here. Like, what's keeping you motivated or driven to say there's more that we could get? Like you just said, you hadn't seen anything yet.
Right. Well, I guess because in about 3 or 4 weeks, a whole new group is going to show up, and they deserve the very best. If you were on tour right now and you were a professional artist, and if you got day one or you got the closing day of your tour, people deserve the very best. I really think that's what it is. I really and truly think that. I ask myself that. I mean, look, let's be honest. Not every day, we're not skipping through the halls holding hands. I don't want to make it sound like that. We're grinding. And, take on some of the things that maybe we shouldn't take on. That takes a lot out of you. And so, people probably are wondering, how much longer can they do it? But I just, it's who we are. And my wife, who's been a rock to me for so long, and my entire career, we met at Pearl River, been together ever since. I want to be fair to her and her time as well, but she's right in there with me.
Oh,
right. She her. Shanna's right in there. Shanna's in the gaps. And so we're just, I think that's what motivates our people and our students. And it sounds corny, but changing lives, man.
Yeah.
Think about that every single day. You get a chance to wake up and change somebody's life or the direction of their life, or give them the confidence. And I don't want to go on.
No. Keep rolling. Keep rolling. Talk.
You see heroes all the time. And I know you do reading, and you're well read and well educated, and we probably share a life. We off camera and sit there and say, who do you read? What do you look at?
Same stuff.
It's the same stuff. We're always looking for people that motivate us in some ways or give us an idea. When I think back to all of those, people that I've read, go back to just start with like a George Steinbrenner for whatever. I'm a Yankees fan. So, he never lets his players back up when they park. You can't back into your parking spot. Why? Man, like, what is that? Why would you? Because you're thinking about leaving, right? So people ask me all the time, like, what do you want your legacy to be? Man, I haven't even thought about that. Like, I'm in the grind right now. I don't get to write that book. That's not a chapter for me to write. I have some things that I hope people would realize that I was focused on throughout my career, but, I'm not backing up into my parking lot every morning going, hey, what time can we get out of here? Because I want to make sure I got the easiest path to get out.
Wow.
You pulling there, head up, baby. You ain't thinking about backing up. You ain't thinking about leaving. It's on head first. So little tidbits of information like that. I think if everybody approached it like that, if everybody came to work every single day and said, look, we're here, we're all in. We're going to face some adversity, and we'll face everything and rise instead of facing everything and running. And we're going to pull up here and something's going to happen today. And we're going to be firefighters. Now, you look at all these heroes, you look at all these different people, you look at the people that ran into a building on 9/11, you look at the people that were, we're on the 20th anniversary or just past that now of Katrina. The people who went in and saved all those people. Some people lost their life. Are you willing to give your life for somebody else? Certainly not asking our faculty to do like that, but that mindset of saying, I'm a firefighter, I'm a rescue person. Every single day they're walking into a fire because there's some student in that class that has an issue. And are you willing to go in there and get them and pull them out and find it? Or are you willing just to stand up there in the front of class and go over the basic curriculum and check some boxes and leave? We're building firefighters. And so we need heroes because we're saving lives.
And I've been fortunate enough to go and speak to educators. And one of my messages to them was simple. If you don't feel called to this, you're in the wrong place.
Sure.
Because when people come to you, they need you to do more than teach them a curriculum.
That's right. That's
like they need somebody that cares.
Yeah.
Because if we're just being honest, man, I didn't have the best grade point average when I was at Breerwood Community College. I didn't have accolades or awards when I was at Breerwood Community College. I had people that cared about me.
Well, you were building something different. And that's what I'm saying. That's part of our educational philosophy. We're building this young man that is now a man and a father and a husband and a leader in our community. You're the reason we get up.
Yeah.
You're the reason we get out of bed. I'm just glad I got to live long enough to see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you probably already have, and you will, and you'll get to see that impact. And so, what keeps you motivated? That one more time. And there'll be a day that I don't have maybe the same energy. I don't have the same drive. I don't feel it. And on that day, I'm going to continue to help people, maybe just not in the same capacity. It's just what I love to do, and I've been very blessed.
Yeah. So, man, school is another year's getting ready to kick off. And if you can leave these young people with one message, I know you'll talk to us, you'll talk to the staff, right? There'll be a charge for us to go and impacts lives, but like, what would you leave if they're watching this? Because I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll see it. What would you say to them
As they enter our college, for
as they're
instance?
entering college for the first time on a campus at Pearl River Community College, away from home? Parents have trusted us with their kids. What would you say?
Well, I think that's a great point that parents have trusted us and that there's a lot of different opportunities out there. You know, what I would tell, every person that enters our colleges, embrace yourself to be part of something bigger. Take advantages of everything that we're trying to offer to you. And if they come in with that mindset, say, I'm just here to be, I know I got a responsibility. I know I got a job to do, but I just want to be part of something bigger, and open yourselves up and open your heart up. Be empathetic. Just be empathetic and understanding of the person sitting next to you. And that goes for everybody that enters our campus. That doesn't mean we give free passes. That doesn't mean we downgrade our curriculum. It doesn't mean all those things. It just says, man, you know what? I guess, and I learned that out there when I was recruiting for so long in athletics. I go into homes, Kendale. I mean, I would just be shocked at the fact that this guy's even on our radar with the opportunity. Then he shows up at the college, right? And then goes to financial aid, and they say, fill out the 618-6459 form. That guy's like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'm about to leave. And I'm thinking, you have no idea what it took for him to even show up on campus.
Wow.
So how are we going to go ahead and not be opening and happy to help, So kind of got sidetracked there a little bit, but you tell people all of those things. So be empathetic to the person sitting next to you. You don't know what it took to get there. All of those things are just essential. And if you do that, if you're willing to do, as they get out into profession, it's real simple. I want to find on my team what I look for. If we were building it now, my strategy, may not be built for every organization. You got colleges and community colleges and universities. Maybe my theory doesn't work on, say, a university level. I think it does in some ways, because I think everything starts, building it from the inside, and getting your people. You got to have that foundation before you build upon it, right? But I think as we talk to our students, as we bring them into our college, into our campus, be a problem solver, not a problem creator. I mean, think about that in your profession. Just people who approach things like that, and the people I'm talking about. Problem solves, and be willing to do the little things that nobody else will do.
Yeah.
That's just life advice as they leave Pearl River.
Yeah.
Just get out there day one and be willing to do the things that nobody else wants to do. Be willing to hop on the mower, for instance, and say, and I got to pick this trash up and do all the things. The world will open up and give you perspective like you can never have imagined.
Yeah. And man, look, I've had mentors in my life, and I was telling some air guardsmen, when I had spoke to him not long ago, and I told him, I said, hey, nobody ever talked to me about how much money they made. The people I value, the people that I love, the people that I call and talk to, that I can get advice from, that I've been mentored like you, y'all don't never talk to me about the car you drive, the money you make. It's always about the people that impacted their life.
Sure.
And man, I'm telling you, the fact that you helped me, the fact that you didn't get that job as a baseball coach, I'm convinced. I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe in luck. I'm convinced God had me in mind when you didn't get the job. The people that you've impacted, the people that you've touched, the people that's live that you help them see, hey, you could do this. I'm saying it was a blessing that you didn't get that job, because we probably wouldn't have had a relationship we have now. You would have been focused on the field, focused on recruiting, focused on that. And I'm saying the fact that you didn't get that job, Avalon is a brother to me.
Oh, man.
Candace is a sister to me.
Sure.
Right? The people on that campus that I love, that I value, that I'm with all the time, that I can pick up the phone and call, Camille Martin, right?
For sure. Yeah.
I would have never had the experience if it wasn't for that. Yep. So, man, I've told you this before, but I'll say it publicly. Like, thank you for being Adam.
Yeah,
like, thank you for being the man that didn't see me. Who is this kid? Yep. Right? But you saw something in me. You saw something that you knew could be special. And that's where my foundation started. So, man, I'm forever indebted to you, like a brother, like a friend. That's why when you call, I'm coming, because I know you rocking with me, man. So I appreciate you.
Well, I am rocking with you. I love you too, brother.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed that you feel that way and know that you had the same impact on my life. We're both young kids at the time in some ways, right?
Yeah.
I was dean of students at 27, 28 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You were 18.
Yeah.
Both trying to feel our way, and I think God's plan. It's not finished, but it's certainly been a blessing to be on this journey with you.
Yeah.
And watch the work you're doing. Keep going, man.
Yeah.
You're doing great things.
Appreciate you, baby.
I appreciate you, buddy, man. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Well, that wraps up another episode of the Village Podcast. And it's my hope that you get something out of this from a leadership perspective, from a relationship perspective, and also, most importantly, from the fact that your life should be impacting somebody else's life. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you soon.
It takes a village to